you for joining us on Savvy Senior Sources, Talking with Experts. Let's take a moment and hear from our sponsors, GWG Life and Reverse Mortgages SIDAC.
What is the secondary market for life insurance? The secondary market for life insurance is an emerging financial market that provides individuals options with their policies. These options allow policyholders to benefit from the value of their life insurance. Policies are sometimes a financial burden, especially for seniors, as premiums often increase over time. The secondary market offers financial alternatives that can help policyholders benefit from their life insurance now.
Hi, I'm Beth Paterson, a certified reverse mortgage professional with Reverse Mortgages SIDAC. Bob's wife passed away, meaning his Social Security income was cut in half. His financial advisor suggested he look into a reverse mortgage. With the reverse mortgage, he was able to take a dream vacation with his nephew, and oh, the stories that they can share. After Bob passed away, his niece shared the difference that it made to the whole family. Dorothy did the reverse mortgage in order to protect her other retirement funds. With her line of credit, she was able to travel, buy a new car, and do home repairs. Years later, she's still benefiting from the reverse mortgage line of credit and not having to rely on her children. For more information on how you too can have security, independence, dignity, and control, contact us. Hi, welcome to Savvy Senior Sources, Talking with Experts. Savvy Senior Sources guides your way through resources A to V for seniors, boomers, their caregivers, and their advisors. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsors, GWG Life and Reverse Mortgages SIDAC. I'd also like to mention that in addition to the TV show, we offer the Savvy Senior Sources Guide. For more information about that, visit our website, savvyseniorsources.com. I'm Beth Paterson with Savvy Senior Sources as well as Reverse Mortgages SIDAC. Now I'd like to welcome my guest co-host again today, which is Marci Holley from Minneapolis Public Housing. Today we're going to be talking about the Y at Heritage Park with our guest, Henry Crosby, who is the Executive Director. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Honored to be here.
Good to have you here. And the Y at Heritage Park has some unique programs. Share some of that with us.
I guess primarily I want to start by saying the Y at Heritage Park is a unique opportunity that the YMCA has started a partnership in collaboration with the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority to serve a segment of the market in our urban core around health and wellness and holistic care. So we're the first of its kind in the country that has had this kind of collaboration with the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority. And in this community, the YMCA of the Greater Twin Cities has 21 different sites that are spread out between Minneapolis and St. Paul. This one in North Minneapolis happens to be primarily focused on the urban core and focused on mature, active, older adults.
Okay. And talk more about your collaboration with Minneapolis Public Housing. And Marci, that's where you're from, so maybe you can join in there too.
Well, what I like to say is that the vision of this facility and this campus is a very powerful vision because it sets the foundation for bringing health and wellness to the common people at a grassroots level in the area that is many times forgotten by many city planners around and health care organizations. And maybe Marci will talk a little bit more about the leadership around the vision. But the YMCA got involved to primarily use this as a leverage for sharing some of the services that we do on a national basis for active older adults. And this again gave us an opportunity to have a satellite facility that works in a partnership with the public housing, that has a very broad base of residents that we want to serve, and also work with other collaboratives that have interest in health and wellness for this particular marketplace.
That's awesome. And the Y, which I think we need to clarify, is the Y is located inside the
Heritage Park Health and Wellness Center. The Y is one of many partners that we have here at the Health and Wellness Center. In the Y space, Henry shares his space with Courage Kinney, which used to be the Courage Center, which offers rehabilitation, occupational, physical, and I know that Henry does a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah, okay. Can you expand on that a little bit? What type of things, or?
I was waiting on you to ask, Beth, because that partnership with Courage Kinney is very powerful from the perspective that we have people like Oliver, who's there right now, who came in as a YMCA member. Oliver had a stroke. Oliver has had the need for some physical rehabilitative services, and to be able to allow him to go from our space right down the hall to speak to a physical therapist and also receive warm water therapy was a real asset for him. And in conjunction with that, his wife is able to come and do her workout while he's in his class. So that's just one testimony that we have, but our collaboration is really important because that was part of the vision, and it really is working where under one roof you could have several services to serve a community that has a multitude of needs.
Yeah, and you do have the pool here with the warm water therapy that can be accessed, which is awesome.
Right.
I was disabled many years ago and went through the water therapy, and it was made a whole big difference on what you can do in the water, what you can't do out of the water. So that's part of it. You also have a collaboration on transportation.
Yes, our collaboration on transportation is something that has evolved over the last, I would say, 8 months. We've identified, Beth, that in serving this community, there are two primary barriers to allowing people access to something like this. Yes, we're only, maybe a quarter of a mile from the target field, and we're not far from the light rail station. But for people of mature, active, older adult status, this place is not directly on the bus line. So one of our primary challenges and barriers that has become vividly clear to me is that our affordability and our membership here is only $35 in compared to our other facilities where theirs is double that price because we wanted to market it at that level so people could afford it. And then we also looked at the opportunities and the challenges around transportation. And with those two things on our radar screen, it was a desire to use resources that we had from one of our funders that allows us to contract with Eastside Neighborhood Services, who has a busing service, and basically they've worked with Minneapolis Public Housing Authority many times before on several other projects on grocery runs and things of that nature. And I asked, could we do this in trying to help people come to the Heritage facility for health and wellness? And they agreed. Right now, our transportation plan is sending a bus to a handicap bus to 5 different MPHA locations on the north side. We're sending a bus where we pick people up literally at 9:45 in the morning, bring them here, we welcome them, we give them a fitness assessment, we explain the machines, we give them a tour of the facility. Many of them have not seen the complete facility. And we wanted to just basically make it a place where they will felt welcome. And the socialization part of it is really important for them too. So the bus comes at 9:45, brings them here, 10 o'clock. They have about an hour and a half to just kind of use this place as they choose. I have a bottomless pot of coffee, and we have some other activities planned for them. But again, this is just an attempt to bring them here and make them feel welcome. We've learned that many people are intimidated by this kind of place because many have never had access and exposure. So the challenge is to make sure that it's welcoming for all, that we provide the transportation so they don't have to worry about it. We get them back safely so that they can continue their day, and most importantly know that the MPHA and the YMCA and all the other collaborative partners are coming together to try to see how we can actually make this a good experience for them and make it fun.
That's great and very unique from other programs. I'm a member of the Y, but as far as I know, we've got the senior silver sneakers, but not as much of the others. And you know, I have to get my own transportation there, so that's a great idea and concept. Let's talk about some of your other programs that you offer. You've got ACT on Alzheimer's.
ACT on Alzheimer's is a really great initiative that's going on really throughout the state. The ACT on Alzheimer's program that we're working with right now is a way of bringing awareness to the community around the conditions of Alzheimer's, how to identify symptoms, how to actually serve the family as a resource and giving them some directions on where to go and finding resources for their loved ones. And most importantly, you know, making sure that those people that are experiencing symptoms of dementia and or Alzheimer's are seen as regular people and they're not treated any more differently. So the program that we have here in the North Side is in partnership with a lot of other health providers. North Point is one of our providers that we're working with over there, and other social organizations, the county, and some people in the city. So, and this initiative, Act on Alzheimer's, is taking place throughout the state by many organizations. So it's not just here in Northside, but many organizations in St. Paul and St. Louis Park and Eden Prairie. Many of them have their own that primarily looks at small segments of their demographics to kind of create this awareness campaign.
And we're going to have another show on some of those, on how communities are reaching out and covering, helping those with dementia or Alzheimer's. So, what about looks like you have some other support groups, cancer support group. How does that fit in with the Y?
Well, you know, it fits in really well. It fits in better than most people realize. The YMCA has been seen as a gym for people to maintain their health and wellness. What we've learned is that there's people who've gone through chronic disease situations and have recovered. And understanding that the recovery process is really important, because I really didn't know how much people who have gone through cancers, how many of their senses and many of their physical attributes have been compromised by way of chemo. So what we've done is worked on a program called Live Strong that we're working to bring here to the community. And we're really trying to reach out to the people who are cancer survivors and make ourselves available to give them a place that they can come and have focus groups about their challenge, but also try to work together collaboratively to talk about how we can help them rebuild or reestablish themselves. I did not know, and it's been vividly a major aha, is that the depression and the isolation that people have gone through individually, as well as their caregivers, has been a real tough challenge. And so right now there isn't anything like that for people here in the North Side, our community in the North Side. I would love to just kind of use our resources for that group. And since we're talking about cancer, we also have the same scenario with stroke survivors.
Okay.
And but again, how do we help people recover or be part of that management recovery process, and also including the caregivers of both of those groups, and you know, basically managing the whole process.
And the advantage is having Sister Kinney here to help with some of the therapy and all of that, and the exercise that comes into play.
Right.
And so,
and I just want to say that's why our uniqueness is so powerful in comparison to how the YMCA has traditionally done things. And it gives us a chance to focus on the market. It gives us a chance to focus on the people. It gives us a chance to really be advocates in areas of health and wellness that many times I think and I've been told, has been looked over in the needs, in serving the needs of our community. So this is a place that I'm excited to call the Cheers of the North Side, where everybody knows your name. And what we have also learned is when you bring people together like we have in our facility, the socialization is so powerful. And what I've learned is people who've gone to church together, they've worked together, their kids have grown up together, they're family members, and they love being together in their community. And that's why the MPHA has done a great job in making this place available so that we can carry out that kind of legacy for people who've been here for decades.
Yes.
That's great. You touched a little bit about chronic disease, but one of the programs, Chronic Disease Resource for Communities of Color. Expand on that a little.
Chronic disease for communities of color. The approach that we've tried to take in some of the projects that we're doing here is to be culturally sensitive in how we share information about these respective chronic disease issues. We, many times when we talk about them, we're not trying to talk about it from a medical, high-level PhD perspective. Most folks come from different levels of learning and understanding, and we're also learning that from a refugee and immigrant perspective, no one is really coming together and making it inclusive to bring that group in. So when we talk about chronic disease awareness, it is primarily just to say that chronic disease has no barriers.
Right, it doesn't.
It has no age limits, it has no restrictions. So when we look at it from that perspective, we know that people do have issues around heart disease. We know that people do have issues around cancer. We do know that high blood pressure is rampant in communities of color. We do know all of those things. But our opportunity here is to make it grassroots, help people learn at their level, and really create a partnership where we can help them to work through a management strategy. We're not in anywhere perfect at this, but what we've learned is that most people just simply want to talk and tell you their story and allow you a chance to help them figure out where to get started. They're embarrassed, many times they're fearful, many times they're intimidated by the equipment. Many of them have never been to a gym, depending on their culture, especially when we talk about refugee and immigrant communities. So this is a great, unique opportunity to really say to our communities that are changing rapidly, that we all have to be adaptable and take more time to listen to what people need and give them what they need as opposed to what we want them to have.
And as I mentioned, I had chronic pain. I lived with chronic pain for many years. And one of the things that was frustrating to me was that you couldn't tell by looking at me. There's things that go on, and as I lived with the pain, I didn't want to always be complaining to, you know, how are you? Well, I'm in pain. So it's nice to have that group that you can go and share and understand, but also be recognized. You're still a person. You're still, you know, whether it's cancer, heart disease, whatever, you're still a person. You're still trying to live a life. And how do you make those changes and feel comfortable in the community and have that place to further support?
I appreciate your testimony because more people have testimonies and have not gotten through their process to be able to comfortably talk about it. You've just echoed exactly what all of my members are going through. Just the fact that they're still very much a person. They don't always know how to communicate what the extent of the challenge is. They don't want to be judged.
Right.
But they most importantly just want to try to work through the problem. And sometimes these challenges, the body is an amazing resource, and it has so many interconnections. And when one thing doesn't work in your body, it can mess up everything. I liken it to the engine in the car. When your fan belt goes, everything goes.
or the old song, your knee joint is connected to your.
Oh yeah.
So all of that. One of the other programs, you have a praise and worship workout. Talk
Right.
about that a little bit. That
Well,
sounds unique.
Well, it is unique from the perspective that the YMCA, our Christian principles are really to be welcoming and inclusive to all, regardless of their religious perspectives. And one of our team members had just a very good idea that one day I was working out and a lady we had on her headphones and she was just singing in praise. And that was what she did. She didn't care about anyone hearing what she was singing. She was just in praise. And I told her, I said, Sister Janet, you've just given me a great idea on how to really get people engaged in health and wellness by bringing this whole spiritual aspect into it. And from that, I brought it to my staff, and I said, well, hey, why don't we do a praise and worship workout where we use gospel music. We can invite churches to come in and take the leadership. They can bring their constituents. I open up the doors free.
Oh, wow.
For people to come in and partake in that. So they might want to do a Zumba gospel type of thing or just a Tai Chi type of program focused around spirituality. And it is really welcoming and fun. And what we want to do is make it a non-threatening type of opportunity to be okay with your praise, but most importantly, tie it together with physical fitness. We could do it inside. We have a beautiful pond outside that you could do a walking group together, but just bring people together around spirituality and making sure that they know that regardless of what your spirituality is very, very important in making sure that you're doing things to manage your health and wellness.
Henry, that's been very well attended, hasn't it?
It has,
Yeah.
and we're definitely going to continue to push that because getting new concepts like this together and getting it started, sometimes you spin your wheels in the mud a little bit, but when people begin to talk, the best references that we have is mouth-to-mouth references, and where people say, hey, come with me, I'm going to this for an hour, and it's free. It's over at the beautiful Heritage Park Health and Wellness Center, and it's right around the corner, and have you back home by noon. So it is working out well. We want to get more churches involved to take a leadership, and again, it's non-threatening. We don't want anything, but we just want to be welcoming, and that's really what it's all about.
Share a little bit about how these programs have made a difference in the lives of the people who come here.
Wow.
That's another program.
That
Beth.
is a whole other program.
That's another program because I would bore you to death in talking about people that I could see on the floor who've had kidney transplants. I've been talking to people on the floor who've got in stroke recovery. I could talk to you about people who've had surgical recovery. I could tell you that the activity here is one that is really energetic for this age group. It's welcoming for this age group. It's one that primarily gives inspiration to people in this age group. And they all have a broad range of physical concerns and challenges. And we've had some, what I like, every day at 10 o'clock, there's a group that comes down from Thomas T. Feeney, which is our dementia Alzheimer's extended care facility. And those residents come down and get on the machines just like they sitting in pews in church. I mean, they got the same.
This is my machine. Yep.
This is my machine. But my joy comes from a realization that if we weren't here to give them that access, what would they do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At that time in the morning, they've just gotten up, they've had a meal, but they have no way of getting physical exercise. They walk down our nice walking track to come over here. They use the fitness equipment. They have a special events coordinator who manages everything. Sarah Jo does a great job. And they know that this is part of their day. So, but if we weren't here, where would they be?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of testimony that I like to give for a larger group of people who I know benefit from this greatly.
Well, and they have shown that the benefits of exercise for folks with Alzheimer's is undeniable.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Basically for everyone, it makes
yes.
a difference.
Yes.
And even in preventing some diseases or the chronic pain and that I have, as a result of my injury, which was from a car accident where I was rear-ended, I had fibromyalgia. I have no symptoms of it, but moving and the exercise has made a difference, along with diet, and that's another show. But yeah, it's invaluable on what we can get. We have just a minute left, so share some thoughts on how other Ys or communities can design programs like this because of the difference it makes.
I would say to you in this short time that what we're doing here is groundbreaking. It's never been done before. Minneapolis Public Housing has gotten numerous national awards for this kind of collaborative and vision and partnership. The YMCA, we're working to establish a strategy around something like this so that we can, in my personal vision, is to create something that can be replicated around the country. There are communities who are very similar to this, who could partner with other public housing authorities around the country. The insurance organizations would love to see something like this as grassroots. It gives us a chance to connect with other refugee and immigrant types of communities who are really struggling on how to find a part around their health and wellness. And I think that this is a really great resource that has nothing but opportunity to grow. It's a low risk, but it has a very, very high reward to the people that it serves. So it's not going to align with the traditional for-profit model. That's okay. But when you see people and you see people happy and you know that they're living out the fall of their lives the best way that they can, I'm happy.
Awesome. Thank you. It's been very enlightening, and we hope that this does inspire others to do programs and learn how to get involved. And for those in the community, to find more about Heritage Park, their contact information is on the bottom of the screen. I'd like to say thank you again to Marci from Minneapolis Public Housing for being my guest co-host today. And again to our sponsors, GWG Life and Reverse Mortgages SIDAC, for making this show possible. And don't forget to check out SavvySeniorSources.com for information on resources. Thank you for being here.
Provide for your long-term care. Convert your life insurance towards payments for long-term care. If you are concerned about future health care, you can convert your life insurance to pay for home care or assisted living. Health problems can be stressful enough without the added burden of financial obligations. If you feel that you no longer need your life insurance policy, you may want to apply the value towards long-term care.
Hi, I'm Beth Paterson, a certified reverse mortgage professional with Reverse Mortgages SIDAC. Mike and Carol decided that they needed a one-level home to fit their changing health needs. They used the reverse mortgage to purchase their new home instead of using conventional financing. This has benefited them greatly. Barbara decided to do a reverse mortgage to pay off her conventional loan that she was making monthly payments on. She had funds left in the line of credit after paying that off. And a year or so later, when she fell and broke her shoulder, she was able to tap those lines of credit to pay for her home care. As she said, she would have been up the creek without a paddle without the reverse mortgage. If you'd like information on how to receive security, independence, dignity, and control in your retirement years, contact us.